Recording.
Hi Lizzie, hi Brittany.
Hey.
Hiya, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling really good, thank you.
Good. Good. I think we've got Brittany too. She did drop me a message though, so she might not be able to join straight away. So once you're ready to go, we'll make a start.
Yeah, I'm just laying my mat out. I'm running a wee bit late as well.
No, don't worry, it's no rush. Just the two of you today, so it's all good.
I've got the dog again, so it's going to be fun.
Oh, lovely. I mean, that's always a treat for me. I like seeing that.
Okay.
How are you feeling generally though? Anything changed? Anything different I should know about?
No, not at all. Don't think so.
No, been good. That's what we like to hear. Fab. In which case, we'll get started then. We're going to start seated. I will just pop you on mute. Obviously, do come off at any point if you'd like to. Just know, obviously, we are recording. Fab. But we're going to start seated. So, as always, any comfortable position for you. I know people don't really take me up on my offer very often, but you can literally start sat on a chair, on the sofa, on the bed, or obviously any comfortable cross-legged position with the legs out. Just starting to arrive and settle here into the mat, maybe feeling for your sitting bones so we can get nice and grounded. Allowing the limbs to feel nice and heavy, so really grounding into the earth. Maybe if it's comfortable for you, you might want to close the eyes, or you can at least keep the gaze kind of lowered or on the nose. But maybe sensing a feeling of the limbs being nice and heavy from the waist down, but maybe nice and light and buoyant from the waist up. And if that allows us to kind of lengthen through the spine to sit up a little taller, then we'll allow that to happen too. Feeling that sensation. You can have your hands on your knees, you can have them at the heart space, wherever's comfortable for you, maybe on the legs. But just starting to bring your attention to the breath. So noticing, acknowledging where the breath is today. Maybe sensing the volume, the rhythm, kind of where we're breathing from in the body. Knowing there's nothing we need to do, nothing we need to change or control. We're just noticing where we are today, how we've shown up. Maybe if it feels good, starting to invite in a slightly deeper, slower, steady, whispering inhale. Maybe pausing for a moment at the top if that's comfortable before we release with a nice deep conscious exhale. Sighing everything out, releasing any tension. We'll keep that mindful breath going, so nice deep breath in. Holding it just for a moment at the top before we exhale and release. Maybe we drop the shoulders. Maybe we drop the tongue from the roof of the mouth. Keeping that nice conscious breath going a couple more times. Maybe it's quite loud, quite audible. Maybe as we're breathing, almost visualizing how we want to practice today, or setting a little intention. Maybe an intention to tend to our body, tend to our mind and needs, to look after ourselves. Making that commitment to not steal any moments from ourselves in our practice today, or not to overreach, so not to steal poses that aren't quite right for us at this point. We're going to use the breath to kind of fuel our practice, fuel our movement today, as we always do. So we're going to start with some gentle arm stretches. So from here, we're going to inhale the arm out to the side. We'll be wiggling the fingertips, stretching through the chest, nice and open. As we exhale, spreading the fingertips, bringing the palms into the chest. Anjali Mudra, lovely. We'll inhale, dropping the chin, taking the palms behind the neck, and then reaching them all the way up, maybe a bit of a point at the fingers at the top. And then we'll exhale, wiggling those fingertips back down. We're going to run through that a couple more times, so moving at your own speed. You can keep the eyes closed for this if you know where we're going. We do this semi-regularly. But making the most of the movements, really reaching out, radiating from the body. Maybe as we do this last time, whispering to yourself that I'm enough, I do enough, I have enough. I am enough, I do enough, I have enough. Bringing those palms into the chest when we're ready. And we'll take that to some gentle neck stretches. So from here, we're going to drop the right ear over to the right shoulder. And then maybe you just want to use the right hand to place gently on that head to provide a little bit, almost of pressure. We're not kind of pushing the head, but just adding that little bit of weight there. We can pop the opposite hand down on the knee, or you might want to take it out to the side, kind of flexing the wrist. That can feel quite nice. I honestly don't even know kind of what this arm adds, but the important thing is you may notice a change in sensation, and that might be nice. It might not, in which case we don't have to do it, but it's fun to kind of explore these things. And then we're going to swap those arms over, so releasing the head, bringing it back to center, and then taking it over to the left this time. And we'll swap those arms, get that little neck opening, little neck stretch on this side. Fab, lovely. And we'll release those fingertips back down, really nice. So we're keeping it nice and gentle, being nice and soft with ourselves this evening. From here, we're going to take the right foot out long, so we're extending through that foot, bringing those toes almost back towards your face. And we're going to bring the opposite foot to meet the inside of the leg. And we're moving into our side stretches. So placing the right hand down inside the leg, we'll take the opposite hand, really reach it out before we come all the way up and over. So making the most of the move, finding that position, that kind of sweet spot where we're getting that nice length, that nice stretch in the side body. Breathing into the rib cage. Maybe we give that wrist a little roll. Inhaling and exhaling here. We're going to take the arms over to the other side. So you've got a couple options. We can either bring the hands down using the fingertips to kind of walk us around, or maybe you want to kind of cartwheel those arms over. So we've done most options before, so you'll hopefully know which one feels right for you, which one feels better, but we're bringing that stretch over to the other side. Hi, Brittany. So we've got everyone here now. And then when you're ready, we're going to move, that's not a very useful term, is it? We're going to pop this foot down flat on the floor, so the extended foot, and then we're going to push up into our hand, our shin, and the foot to lift us up into our baby wild thing. So we're sending our pelvis forward, we're pushing up out of the legs, so we're building a little bit of strength foundation here. We're going to keep reaching through that hand, so taking up lots of space. Big inhale in. As we exhale, we'll release that pelvis gently back down to the floor, bringing us back to our seated position. Great, Lizzie, really nice. And we'll swap them over. So we'll take the left leg out nice and long this time, tucking that other one in. And we're going to start with that same stretch again. So bringing the left hand down with the other hand, really thinking out and up and over. So we're almost doing a full kind of semicircle all the way around. Making the most of the movement. We're going to keep those toes coming in towards our face so that it's nice and active, nice and engaged. Finding your kind of version of the pose. We can keep it here. Brittany's got some lovely dips going on. We can keep it quite dynamic if that feels better. And then with your next exhale, we're going to switch the arms around again. So again, you can either walk them forward over to the other side. That one's feeling quite good for me today. Or you can cartwheel them over, getting that stretch on the opposite side. And it might feel different. Sometimes, we want to be a little bit more upright, but as long as we're kind of sensing that length, it doesn't really matter. And then when you're ready, we're going to push up into that baby wild thing again. So we want to push through our hands, our shin, our foot, bringing the pelvis forward, really lifting up and out, sending that top arm back. Maybe getting a nice little stretch in the skin around the sides, the bellies. Belly, we have one each. And then we'll exhale, bringing ourselves back down. Fabulous, guys, really nice. So from here, we're going to keep our legs where they are for a second. We're going to practice our Janu Sirsasana. So we have been doing this with straps. If you want to grab a strap, you absolutely can. If not, we're going to almost hold on to our ankle, and we use that to kind of bring our spine up. So we're lengthening, sitting up nice and tall. And then with an exhale, we'll hinge from the hips. So keeping the spine nice and long, nice and straight, bringing our nose towards our knee. And we'll use the hands to support us or our strap. And again, it's not really about kind of coming into this flat pancake shape. If that feels great, good for you, then that's great. But we want to kind of keep that heart space shining forward so we can keep it pretty upright if that feels good. But we're kind of stimulating our digestive organs here. We're opening up through the back body. We're lengthening the hamstrings. So couple deep breaths here. And notice, how does this feel different to Monday or last week when we did it? Maybe we've got a bit more space today, maybe we've got less space. There's no right or wrong. Nice, guys. Good use of props. And then we're going to use our fingers to walk ourselves back up. And we'll swap that over to the other side. So maybe using your hands to move your limbs. I quite like using my hands to move my legs around sometimes. I don't know why. I think it just feels like you're kind of looking after yourself a bit. So pulling that foot in, I like to use the ankle to really kind of encourage me to sit up nice and tall. We'll keep those toes pointing towards us. And then in your own time, nice big inhale in. As we exhale, using our hands or the strap to kind of guide us to that nice, comfortable position where we're keeping the spine nice and long, keeping the back body nice and energized. Remembering to keep breathing. Lovely, guys. Great, and when you're ready, we'll walk ourselves back up. If there's anything you want to do here to kind of release that tension from the hamstrings, maybe dropping the knees side to side, maybe just giving the legs a little bit of a shake, a little bit of a wobble, whatever you want to do. And then in your own time, when you're ready, we're going to cross the ankles over and come on forward towards our tabletop for our cat-cow. So I think you both know where you're going at this point, but being cautious to get any padding you might need, any padding under the knees, the wrists, really pushing into the fingers and the beds of the hands. We're pushing up and away from the mat. Toes can be tucked or flat. And then when you're ready, we'll start moving through those cat-cows, dropping the belly, sending the chest forward, chest to chin, chin to the sky, and reversing that movement, pushing up into our nice strong cat. Using the breath to kind of control the rhythm. And as always, if there's anything a bit funky you want to add on, if you want to kind of dip the hips from side to side, or maybe take any nice circles, whatever feels good here. Whatever your body is asking for. Lovely, guys, really finding that movement, creating that sensation in the body, reminding yourself that you're enough, you do enough, you have enough. Finding your variation, your option of the pose. And then when you're ready, we're going to come towards our gate position. So to do that, similar to how we come into our half side plank, from our tabletop, nice neutral spine, we're going to take our right foot out, pivoting it on the knee, and we're going to take that foot off the long edge of the mat. And then the opposite leg, we're going to extend out and bring in line with that knee. So you want the kind of arch of the foot to be in line with the opposite knee. And then we're going to bring ourselves up and over. So either cartwheeling ourselves around, or maybe using our hands to kind of walk ourselves up, coming into our almost warrior two shape, so our gate pose here. We'll keep pushing through that foot. Oh, I just got a bit of a click. Keeping nice and open in the chest. Continuing to really kind of push down through the shin and the knee, through the foot, so we feel like we're lifting up nice and tall. If we tuck that tailbone under a little bit, just to find that length in the spine. Keeping that breath going. Maybe closing the eyes for a moment so we can check in with the body. Or see if that challenges your balance a bit. Definitely did for me. Great, and when you're ready, we're going to bring those arms down in front of us and just gently start to dip back through that hip. So we're going to rock ourselves back and forwards. You might want to tuck the back toes a little bit for this. Finding a little bit of opening, a bit of space in the hip, but we'll keep pushing down through that foot. And finding your own kind of rhythm here. Only going as far as is comfortable, kind of accepting the space that we have in that hip today. Great, looking good, guys. We also all look a little bit like Black Widow from the Marvel films, so that's always cool. And then from here, we're going to walk the arms around. So we're coming back to face the short edge of the mat. We'll twist the knee around for this, that little kickstand, that pivot. We're going to bring the legs back in line with our tabletop. But then with that extended leg, great, we're just going to walk it over towards the right hand side. So it's almost crossing over that knee. And then if you're getting a good side stretch here, then we can stay here. Or you might want to add on just taking your gaze to the back foot just to really lengthen that full body kind of side stretch there. I hope I explained that okay. You both look like you're doing the right thing, and I don't think that was because of my verbal cueing. I think you both just managed to figure it out. Lovely, breathing into that, and then when you're ready, we'll walk that foot back into the center. And we're going to swap sides, do this all on the other side. So we're going to bring that knee back in, maybe dip the hips side from side, just to release to counter that last movement. Give the wrist a shake if they need a little bit of a break. And then when you're ready, we're going to take it to the other side. So this time, left knee, left foot is going to come off the long edge of your mat, just like a kickstand. And we'll take the right foot back so it's in line. I'm going to come the other way so that I can keep looking at you all. And then we're going to push ourselves up to that gate pose, that warrior two variation. So either walking our hands up or big cartwheel across so we can really reach through the arms. Open through the chest, through the heart center, keep pushing through our strong legs, our strong foundation. Oh, taking up lots of space here. Great, arriving in the pose. Noticing what's already coming up. So we've not been moving for too long. So what's our mind telling us to do? What's on your mind today? Keeping that breath going. Great, and then we're going to bring the fingertips back down. So we'll bring them in front, maybe with these kind of spider fingers, or maybe they're flat on the floor, whatever's more comfortable, and we'll just gently rock back into that hip. So keeping the foot firmly on the mat. Might be feeling a little bit of a stretch in kind of the back of the leg or the side of the leg. Feeling that sensation of our center of gravity coming back and forth. And then when you're ready, we're going to open out into that kind of crescent stretch, that side stretch. So we're going to walk ourselves back round to face the front, swiveling that knee in, technical term, it's a good old swivel. And then that extended leg, same as last time, we're going to walk it across past the bent knee. And then maybe we take our gaze to the foot behind us as well. Nice long stretch in the side. Breathing into the movement. Great, guys. Looking nice. And that's a nice thing about ones like this. You can really just take it. As soon as you start feeling the stretch and it's feeling nice, then you've gone far enough. We don't need to kind of force ourselves to go anywhere. Great, guys. And you're gonna walk that leg back in line with your tabletop. So we'll come back to neutral. Great. Looking good, guys. From here, we're going to tuck the toes under. We're going to do a quick little wake up in the core. We're going to push away through our fingers. When you're ready with an inhale, we'll lift the knees off the floor, just an inch or so. Really pushing into the shoulder blades, into the back of the body, getting that full body experience. Feeling that little bit of prana, that shake, bit of energy in the belly and the body. And then when you're ready, we're going to send the hips back towards the ankles and then push up through your nice strong legs into your downward dog. Nice, guys. When we get here, maybe pedaling through the legs to create a little bit of space. And kind of going through our downward dog checklist so we can set up nicely here. Oh, we've even got a dog on the screen joining in. Perfect. So pushing through the hands, maybe taking the arms a little bit wider if you've got any shoulder pain. Dropping the heels, but they don't need to come down to the earth. You can even just practice dropping them one by one. And again, we can take the legs a little bit wider if that's nice from the back. Bringing the belly towards the thighs, so we've got a nice long length in the spine. Lovely. So we're gonna catch our breath here. Tune into what the breath's telling us. Sensing in this kind of moment of stillness where we're at. And then nice and slowly in your own time, we're gonna hop, step, or walk up to the top of our mat. I nearly said hop, step or jump, but hop and jump are quite similar. So to think, what's the other option? It's a nice leisurely walk. So coming up into our forward fold, and we can keep the feet nice and wide here if that feels better. We can keep a nice bend in the knee if that feels better. If anything makes it feel better, then that's what we can do. It's always permitted. So bringing our weight kind of nice and evenly into both sides of the body here, and then elevating the hips back. And then when you're ready, nice slow roll up to Tadasana. So really pushing through both feet, so feeling into all 10 toes to really start to activate the muscles of the legs, activate the legs. Rolling the shoulders down at the top, sending the palms forward, arriving in your Tadasana. Tadasana. Here we made it, we're arriving. Maybe closing the eyes for a moment. I love using Tadasana to catch the breath, to allow the blood to rush back into the body. Just a moment to kind of ground and center. Nice, guys. So we're going to work for a couple of sun salutations to get the body moving a bit more. So if anybody wants a drink or anything, now is a good time to do it. And then when you're ready, we'll start moving through. So everyone coming to Tadasana, there's no rush. We will start going when we're here. But maybe closing your eyes for a couple of moments in Tadasana, and even, so these are sun salutations, meant to be welcoming in the sun. So maybe imagining, visualizing the sun kind of shining on your face. You're drinking in all that lovely energy, all that lovely light. And when you're ready, we'll bat the eyelids open. We're going to inhale, take those arms all the way up and overhead, maybe slight back bend. Exhale, coming down to Uttanasana, swan diving down, hinging at the hips. Lovely, into your forward fold, bending the knees if that feels good. Inhale, coming up to your halfway lift, pushing through the feet, squeezing the shoulder blades, nice flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Nice, guys. Inhale, we're going to plant the hands, spread the fingertips, step or jump back to your plank. Dropping the hips nice and low, bringing that belly button up to meet the back body, pushing through the hands. Reminding yourself here, I'm enough, I do enough, I have enough. Gaze is on the mat below you. Maybe again, we feel that little bit of fire, prana shake. Tells us that we're alive, we're safe, we're well. And then when you're ready, we're going to come down towards our cobra or our tabletop. So we can drop the knees to do that. We can come through chaturanga. We can come through knees, chin, chest. Whatever way feels good. Coming up to our tabletop or to our cobra. Lovely. And wherever we are, kind of chest to chin, chin to sky. Keep thinking that. Grounding down through the back legs. And then we're going to tuck the toes under, and then either come through our tabletop or come straight on back to our downward dog. Adjusting the feet in any way, if that helps us get the correct distance, correct gait. Great, resting for a moment here. Noticing the breath, noticing how things may have changed, shifted. And then when you're ready, we'll walk, step, or jump up to the top of our mat again. So coming up in whatever way feels good for you. Lovely, Brittany. Lots of nice energy. And then we're going to roll our way back up. Rolling the shoulders back at the top. We're going to go straight back into that sun salutation. I'm going to come and watch you both. So when you're ready, inhale, we'll take those arms all the way up and overhead, reaching to the sky. Lovely, Lizzie. Exhaling, swan diving the hips down, bringing the hands to the earth, Uttanasana. Lovely, guys. Inhale, finding that halfway lift. Great, bring the hands wherever's comfortable. Exhale, Uttanasana, coming back down. Great. From here, we'll inhale, really press your hands into the mat as you step or jump back to your plank. Amazing, guys. Both look really strong. Holding it here, keeping that gaze on the earth, feeling how strong you are, feeling your strength, finding yourself here. And then when you're ready, we'll come down into your tabletop or your cobra. So chaturanga, dropping the knees, coming through knees, chin, chest. Lovely, Brittany, really strong. Lovely circles, Lizzie. Chest to chin, chin to the sky. And then when you're ready, we'll use our breath to move us back into our downward dog. So coming through our tabletop, if that feels better. Sending the hips nice and tall. Nice transitions, guys. Finding this stillness here, this space of stillness, this quiet. Listening to what your body is telling you, listening to what your mind tells you when you give yourself this space to pause. When you're ready, we'll walk, step or jump to the front of the mat. Coming back to our Uttanasana. And I actually did that a slightly strange way, so apologies, we are staying down, but we're going to bring those knees back into our tabletop. That was my bad, I shouldn't have brought us up. And then take the knees nice and wide, sending the hips back, finding your child's pose, Balasana. We can walk the arms out, really extending them out the shoulders. Maybe we bring the palms together for a little shark fin overhead. You could create some little pillows for your head, or one potato, two potato, whatever feels good for you. Whatever allows you to find this rest here. This rest that allows us to recuperate our energy. Without the rest, we can't rise. We know that we're doing enough, so it's good to take this chance here. Seeing what your body is telling you. When you're ready, we'll start to push through those hands. We're bringing ourselves back up nice and slow. Maybe blinking the eyes open if we've been closed. And we're going to come up to standing, so whatever way feels good for you. We're walking the hands back towards the knees, bringing ourselves back up. We're going to come back. We're going to do a few standing poses before we kind of do some poses a bit closer to the floor again. So if you want to grab a drink or anything, again, this is a good time to grab a drink. And then we're going to play with some warrior poses. So finding that nice firm position on the mat, feet kind of hips distance apart, so we're nice and stable, nice and strong. And then you know I love a step back behind us without looking. So we'll shift our weight into that right hand side, lifting through the left knee, spreading the toes so we find this little moment of balance, of focus, kind of that opposition energy to the earth. So it's almost like we're pushing away from the floor. And then with your exhale, we're going to tilt slightly forward, send that raised foot all the way back down the mat to find our warrior one legs. And if we didn't quite put them exactly where we want to go, that's fine. We can shift them around to get them into a better position for us. But we want to be bending into that front knee. We want to make sure we've got enough space, so we don't want to be on a tight rope. We're keeping it nice and wide. Pushing into that back foot, toes kind of 45 degrees in. Pelvis is nice and stacked, facing towards that front leg. Great, guys. Looking good. We can keep the hands on the hips here if that feels good. If we want to feel that strength in the legs. Or you may want to take your arms up and overhead, really opening through the shoulders as if we've got a big beach ball overhead. Feeling fierce, feeling strong here. Finding these moments of kind of strength, of focus, not comparing it to what anyone else's looks like. We're not Comparison is the thief of joy, so let's not steal any chance of joy from ourselves. And then when you're ready with the inhale, we're going to use that inhale to turn our pelvises towards the front, open out through the arms, finding our warrior two. Again, adjust the feet if you need to. Bending into that front knee, nice and energetic in that back arm, so we're not letting it drop. Both arms are nice and fierce like our warrior swords. Taking that gaze over the fingertip. Taking out lots of lovely space. Noticing what your breath sounds like here. Trying not to jump ahead to the next bit. We know there's probably one of a few options we tend to go to after here, but enjoying this moment here in the warrior two. Because all we really have is the present moment right now. When you're ready, we're going to turn that palm over to reach it as far forward as we can and then bring it all the way back up to our peaceful warrior, reaching up to the sky, gaze on the elbow above you. We can straighten through that front leg if that feels nicer, if that gives us a bit more length. Nice deep belly breath here, feeling the body kind of expand as we breathe. Release as we exhale. And then when you're ready with your next inhale, we're going to bring that elbow down towards that front knee. Lovely, guys, reaching that top arm up and over, or keeping it on the hip, or even kind of wrapping it behind in a bit of a bind. Parsvakonasana, side angle pose, nice strong pose this one. Great, and then as if I'm pulling on your top finger, I'm going to pull you up out of your thigh, coming back to your warrior two. And then we'll bring the hands to the hips. We're going to turn those toes in just for a moment. Stand up nice and tall in your superhero pose. Again, no official yogi term for this one. I'm just calling it superhero pose. Maybe closing the eyes here, feeling your power. Always says is an excellent one to do if you need a bit of confidence for something. And then when you're ready, we'll open the eyes. We're going to heel toe the feet back in together. Great. Give them a little bit of a shake off, especially that thigh that was doing a lot of nice work for us. And then we'll go for a bit of knocking on heaven's door, or whatever kind of shaking feels good for you. A bit of funky chicken shaking. Letting the arms really hang loose. So nice and strong in the center. Just letting the arms flail. I guess we're flailing is how I would describe this motion with the arms. Listening to the breath. Lovely. Looking good. Absolutely. Any last minute shakes we want, the wrists, the ankles. And then we're going to take that all again, all on the other side. So nice and strong. We've done it on one side, so we've got it. We can do it again on the other side. So coming back to our Tadasana, checking in here, connecting back here. This is a moment to almost calibrate to see what feels different. And we'll start with that little moment of balance again. So this time we're going to shift our weight into the left side, bringing that right knee up. I always stand a little bit too close to my cupboard for this. Spreading the toes as if we're pushing away from the ground. See if that kind of changes the shape of the pelvis. Big expansive breath, breathing lots of love in, exhaling lots of love out. And then with that focus from that balance, we're going to tilt ourselves forward, send that raised leg all the way down the mat, coming to our warrior one. Fab, nice. Making any adjustments you want to make. Feet are flat on the floor, so that's what makes this a warrior one rather than an alasana or a high lunge, because that back foot is on the floor, toes pointing at a 45-degree angle. We're going to keep that pelvis shining forward. So nice Mula Bandha here. And then choosing what you want to do with the arms, whether those are on your hips or whether we're taking them up and overhead. I'm going to swizzle around so I can keep watching you all. Lovely, nice strong legs, guys. Breathing into the heart space. Really building the pose from the ground up. It's a nice strong foundation in the legs. Using that strength to kind of build trust in the body. And when you're ready, we'll cartwheel those arms around. So using the breath, start to open out towards our warrior two. Nice, pushing through both feet. Using the breath to allow us, maybe the exhale lets us sink a little bit lower. And even if we don't physically move, maybe it's just kind of that breath creating that sensation of sinking, finding more ease, more comfort. I don't want to use the word rest because I wouldn't say this is restful. Keeping the breath going here. When you're ready, we'll inhale, turn that front palm up to face the sky, reaching it forward and then bringing it all the way back for our peaceful warrior. Gaze comes to the elbow. Nice length in the side body. Great, guys, looking really good. And then we're going to use that top elbow. We're going to bring it all the way down to that knee, making sure we're not collapsing in that side. So we're not using it to kind of lean on. We're just using it as a bit of support, bringing that top arm up. I don't know about you guys. I'm finding this very tricky right now. Very strong. My thigh is screaming at me, but we're in this together. We're a little group. We've got this. We're doing this as a team. We're breathing together. We're moving together. We're finding some integrity in these movements. And when you're ready, imagining I'm picking you up from your top fingertip. We're going to come all the way back round. Bring the hands to the hips. Ooh, release through that leg. That felt good for me. Bringing the toes in, and then we'll heel toe. Back to center, giving the legs a little bit of a shape when we get there. The arms too, if they need it. Lovely, guys. Finding a bit of space. Taking any kind of silly movement here. It's just the three of us. No one else is here. No one else is in your room. So doing whatever movement feels good, feels playful, feels joyful. Great. And then we are going to start coming back towards the ground a little bit lower. So we'll come back to our Tadasana. We want to get that connection to our feet again, our connection to the earth. I sometimes like to even just like literally look at the feet when we're here. So we really kind of get that grounding, that trust in our body and the earth. We'll inhale, taking the arms all the way up and overhead. We'll exhale, swan diving, bending at the hips, bringing ourselves back down to Uttanasana. Hips elevate to the sky. And then we're going to place the hands on the floor and come back to our tabletop. Nice and gently. Lovely, guys. So we're going to find a little bit of a tiger shape here. So we're going to keep pushing through our tabletop. So we're almost wrapping those arms around. Elbow creases might shine forward. They might not. It depends where your elbow creases are. But we're sending them more towards the front of the mat. And then from here, we're going to inhale, start to lift the right toes up and away. So almost like a three-legged dog or a kind of dancer pose. Toes come up towards the sky, nice and strong in the back body. Really engaging through that back leg. Fab. And then we're going to swing that old leg around, put it outside of your right hand. So bringing it to the front of the mat. Hands are coming in the middle. Great. So we're in this kind of lizard variation. We're going to do a similar rocking to what we did earlier. We're going to rock ourselves back and forth, finding that opening in the hip. And the knee can come out a little bit for this one. So, often we're very kind of rigid. We're kind of using that pelvis to find strength, which we still want to do. We want to keep a really active and engaged pelvis, but if it feels better for you, you can almost use the hand to guide it out. I'm going to do it on the other side so you can see a little bit more what I mean. So we're in our lizard, and we've always got lots of options in lizards. We can keep it here, we can use our hand to support, we can just do this nice gentle rocking back and forth. You've got an option to lift the back knee if we want to be a bit more energized, a bit more strong. You've got an option to bring your elbows down to the earth if we've got kind of the space to do that. You can bring your elbows down, lift your back knee up. So basically you've got lots of options with your elbows and knees, and you can find one that feels good for you. But you can always bring that foot kind of onto the blade of the foot if that feels a bit nicer. So rather than this lizard foot being flat on the floor, you can almost kind of bring it out onto the side, let that knee fall out a little bit. See how it feels maybe to walk that arm through the leg underneath. Breathing into the hip, pushing through the arm or the hand, whichever's on contact with the earth. And then when you're ready, we'll start to bring ourselves back up towards our kind of neutral front ground. And then we're going to bring that leg, walk it back round to our tabletop. Whew. Maybe dipping through the hips here, maybe even walking ourselves back to kneeling for a moment, just to kind of reduce that angle of the hip. Right, so that's definitely got me a bit warmer, that one. And then we're going to take that on the other side when we're ready. So I think you're doing it on the left side this time, because I swizzled around. But coming back to your tabletop, and we'll start with that kind of tiger movement. So wrapping the elbows around, nice and strong in the back. Then we'll send those left toes up towards the sky, really trying to keep that length, that integrity from the knee to the chest. Thinking again, chest to chin, chin to the sky. And then when you're ready, we're going to swing that leg round, place it outside of the two hands. Oh, mine landed with a bit of a thud. Great, and then we'll keep rocking into that hip again. Finding that space. We're always easing ourselves in. I mean, we've done a fair bit of warming up here, but we never want to kind of yank straight into it because there's just no need. We can enjoy the little moments. Easing in. Like I said, and this might feel good. This might feel like we're getting a little bit of opening, a bit more flexibility in the hips, and we can just stay here. If you want to explore one of those other options, and you can obviously play around with lifting the knee, dropping the elbows, walking that foot in slightly so it's kind of on the blade of the foot. If we're using that hand to guide the knee out. Find the shape that feels nice for you. Looking really good, guys. Lovely movement, Lizzie. Breathing in here. And when you're ready, we'll rock ourselves back up to those neutral hips. Great, so knees shining forward, hips shining forward. And then we're going to bring that front knee back. Great, back to our tabletop. And we're going to walk ourselves into kneeling. And then we're just going to bring the fingertips just behind us slightly. It might be, I definitely need kind of spider fingers to reach the earth, but kind of using that connection with the earth to find the energy to shine the chest forward. So squeezing the shoulder blades back, dropping the shoulders here. Lovely, guys. Great. So we'll use the fingertips to walk ourselves forward again. And we're going to cross the ankle, bringing the butt over the ankle just to come back to seated. Great, guys. I'm going to shimmy forward. We're going to take one last little core movement on Navasana. So bringing our feet to the earth, knees shining up to the sky. And you'll probably from here even start to feel a little bit of engagement, a little bit of activation in the core and the center. So if this is feeling good, we can stay right here, or we can move into any of our other Navasana boat variations. Maybe coming up onto our tippy toes, maybe lifting one foot, maybe lifting the other. We might be kind of holding onto our thighs, using that to kind of bring the chest forwards, the heart is shining up. Maybe if we're feeling super strong, we want to give it one last bout of energy, we'll send the palms forward as well, shining up towards the sky. Really bringing those hips, those thighs in towards the midline, nice and strong. Reminding yourself that you're enough, you do enough, you have enough. We have everything we need right here. Finding that integrity radiating in your boat. And you are both radiating. We're all here together doing it. It's beautiful. Beautiful, guys. Great. We're here for 3, 2, 1. And we're going to do one last thing for any burst of energy you want to do. So maybe you want to spread the limbs out nice and tall. Maybe you want to reach for your feet and spread them out, whatever feels good for you. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring the feet together. Drop the knees out towards the side to Supta Baddha Konasana. Lovely. Holding onto the feet again, using that kind of holding onto the ankles, that movement to shine the chest up, lengthen through the spine. Maybe we give the legs a little bit of a flap here, kind of like a butterfly. And then start to ground down. Nice, guys. Maybe closing the eyes for a moment, sensing the breath. I'm definitely breathing more deeply than I was. I'm definitely a bit warmer. And from here, we're going to take the feet out nice and wide again. So we're going to come to our last kind of wide-legged seated position, our last fold. And similar to what we did earlier in the week, we're going to start by taking the arms behind us. And as we kind of push through the fingertips, we're going to bring the chest forward, but we're only going to come as far as we can without taking our fingers off the ground. So just to find that length in the spine, we're bringing our chest towards the earth, bringing your toes back towards you so the legs are nicely supported by your mat, nice and snug with the ground. Taking your gaze maybe to a focal point, a drishti in front of you. It's almost as if you're kind of peering into a pond. That's what Adrian would say. I'm not going to take credit for that analogy. That's Adrianism. And we can hold it here. If this is nice, sometimes it's quite nice. It's almost not a rocking sensation, but just being supported by the body, the spine holding you. Or if you'd like to, you can bring your fingertips in front and see if we can walk ourselves down towards the mat, towards the earth, chest coming down in front of us. There's no need to do that if that doesn't feel good, if that's not adding anything. And we'll keep it with the hands behind. Great, guys. Really nice. So from here, we're going to bring ourselves back up, sitting up nice and tall. Gaze comes back out in front. We'll use the hands to kind of bring the thighs, bring the legs in, giving ourselves a little hug, so holding everything in together. Maybe dropping the forehead to the arms to get a little stretch in the back of the neck. And then when you're ready, we're going to release. And we're going to come down to rest the back on the mat. So as always, we'll do a couple little stretches, but if you want a cushion or a blanket or a pair of socks, anything to make your Shavasana nice and cozy, then now's the time to go and grab it. My socks are a little bit far away, otherwise I'd be completely on that. When you're here, maybe bringing the knees into the chest, taking a gentle rock from side to side, feeling that connection with the mat, with the earth. feeling held by the earth and by the mat. The mat has your back, the yoga has your back. When you're ready, we're going to bring the feet down towards the mat. So the knees are striding forward. We'll take the right foot up, rest it on the left knee. So opening through that hip. Great, maybe we bring the left thigh up, clasp the fingers behind, nice interlace, supine figure 4 shape. Breathing into the back of the legs. So we can always kind of lift it. We don't need to clasp the hands. It can stay on the floor. We can just lift it as far as is comfortable. Then we're going to drop those left toes down. We're going to send the right foot over towards the ground. So you might want to take your hand into kind of cactus shape or out long for this. And your pelvis may move with it. So it's a little bit of a twist, but it's not kind of as drastic as twist because we are bringing the pelvis over. Couple deep breaths here. Starting to get used to a little bit more quiet, a little bit more stillness. I'm going to bring those feet, those legs back up to center and then swap them around. So bringing the right foot up, resting it on the earth, and then we'll send the left heel up towards the sky, pushing the heel up before we come to rest the ankle on that right knee. And if this feels nice here, just opening out through that hip, then we'll stay here. Or if you'd like, we'll bring the toes, bring the legs a little bit closer to the chest, reaching through that kind of thread the needle shape with our fingers. Couple breaths here. And then staying here or bringing the right foot back to meet the earth, sending the left foot over to the floor, cactusing the arms out. So we're getting an opening in the chest. Breathing into the belly. Hopefully letting everything go, everything physically, emotionally, mentally, letting it all go here. Reminding ourselves what we said at the beginning. You are enough, you have enough, you do enough. The yoga practice hasn't changed any of that. Hopefully it's reminded you of some of that, but nothing's changed. I'm going to bring the legs back up to center, and then we'll take them out nice and long for your Shavasana. Just bringing the arms down to the sides. Letting the feet and the arms fall really heavy into the earth. Maybe closing the eyelids, tucking the chin just slightly. Bringing your awareness and attention to any parts of the body that are in contact with the ground. Feeling into those sensations. So in this stillness and in this quiet, we begin to integrate all of our yoga practice. So the physical effects, the emotional, the energetic. So we want to spend these last few minutes that we've gifted to ourselves, that we've carved out for ourselves to really be present with the breath. Using that breath as an anchor to bring you back to you. So how many chances in our day do we get to truly be silent and quiet? So no distractions, no screens, no other people. No jobs that need doing, no tick list to work through. So feeling into the breath and the body here as you allow the mind to rest back. not kind of cajoling ourselves if we're, if we've got other thoughts coming up. Just each time we notice the mind wandering, using that breath as an anchor, bringing our attention back to allow the mind to feel spacious, open and at ease. Feeling held by the earth as we drop into the joy of no longer needing to do. The bliss of simply being. Not fighting against the movement of the mind or the rising thoughts. And just noticing, acknowledging, feeling the breath. Giving yourself permission to stay here as long as you like. Knowing there's nowhere to go. Nothing to do. Nothing more important than this. Watching, noticing, being still with the body. Starting to bring your attention back to what's going on around you, your external environment. Making a decision here whether to stay here, resting, enjoying the Shavasana, enjoying this time of silence and quiet, or if you're going to start to bring some movement back into the body. So however feels good. Maybe rolling through the wrists and the ankles. Maybe nice big stretch, big yawn overhead. Maybe grabbing's not a very nice word. Maybe grasping one wrist with the other, pulling ourselves over into a little bit of a side stretch. Taking it back the other way. Bringing ourselves back up to seated just as soon as we're ready. So as always, there is absolutely no rush. And the last thing we want to do is kind of steal satisfaction, steal this nice calm energy that we've created by ourselves for ourselves. So if that's not self-love, I don't know what is. It's bringing the palms to the chest, lifting the heart to the thumbs, maybe dropping the gaze to the fingertips or closing the eyes. Making a commitment and a promise to ourselves to try and avoid cramming our time full of all these different activities and things that we need to do, and filling up our timetable as fully as possible without stopping to really deeply appreciate kind of the smaller moments. So setting an intention to see what it's like to slow down and do less for the rest of our evening, the rest of our week. So thank you for practicing with me. Thank you for joining me this evening. Thanks for sharing your time and your energy. Namaste. Thank you very much, guys. It was really lovely to have you both. You both did very, very well. When I think you both can't get any stronger, you always do. I'm just going to end the recording. Raf's going to have a bit to cut. Sorry, Raf.